Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your intrepid host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, which is my Indian shaman name. Greetings, welcome, blessings to any and all who come here, and to the wonderful subscribers that I have. Blessings to all, and I say a prayer every time I come on, and I send this out to you, and I hope that you smile in some way, and that you send that goodness out as well. So, yeah, anyway. Now, to the title of this YouTube, I'm if you've watched my videos at all in the past, you'll know that um, I have my little galactic moments, my downloads, my Mother Mary moments, my angel messages, however it could be described as. And I feel prompted again to do a middle of the night video. And lots of things that I've seen, witnessed, etc., just life. I've noticed that the term family has changed. Who considers whom family? It's like what I considered family back 20 years ago isn't the same kind of family thought that's in our society now. The entire paradigm has changed. And so, if you've watched any of my other videos, I'll just briefly say that I've had a lot of physical ailments, a lot of mental issues over the years, and I took a lot of medicines through doctor's orders, through mental health and so forth. A lot of bad reactions, a lot of physical, mental problems, etc., bad reactions with the medicines. And this in turn caused strife in my life. Okay. People around me, family members, so forth. Now, when I came off of the medicines, I opened up to an entirely new type of paradigm, a new parallel universe, if you will. And I realized that I was walking down a path that was parallel to other people, parallel to family, friends, acquaintances, if you will. Okay, just folks you know. Now, I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just saying that, and I've noticed that other people have done this too. So right off the bat, I want to make absolutely perfectly clear, I'm not picking on my family and friends. This isn't about that. It has to do with parallel universes. It has to do with parallel paths, uh, lives, dimensions, okay? Because somewhere along the line, it's changed for other people as well. So, again, as I've stated in my other videos, I can only talk about myself and my experiences because it would be just absolutely rude of me to discuss someone else's um, life or experiences and so forth, unless I have their permission or we're having a mutual discussion. So, with that said, all right. Now, the title of this thing, the new family, the new creation family. And I think that anyone who is listening to me or paying attention to the world around us, there are lots of things that are changing. Bunch of stuff is changing. And that the things that are changing right now in the world are affecting our family society, our family beliefs. And so when I look back on things, and I can honestly say that a couple of years ago, I looked back and with teary eyes and lots of emotion and everything, and thinking, I just feel left out of the family. And I realized that number one, okay, well, all right, I am being left out, but that's not the issue here. The issue is what do I do with that information? Okay. Now I know a lot of other people had conversation with folks, been in chats with people over the last several years, and I've noticed a trend. And so one of the things that I like to discuss is trends in society that maybe other people just don't quite see. Someone's on this morning. It's 2:20. Ooh, it's 4:20 somewhere. Hi, Miss Sherry D. Good morning, good afternoon. What time zone are you in? Just because. And blessings to you, my dear. I think about, and like Miss Sherry just came on right now. And we've only chatted a few times. She's joined this channel. And I can understand that with folks that I chat with, that there is a similarity with our experiences, with things that we see, and these wonderful people, so that I have wisdom. Well, I ask for wisdom. I ask the universe to give me words to speak what should be spoken, maybe. And so with this whole new universe that is being created right now, and all the different channels and different people speaking on these things, you're in central time zone, I think you say. Oh, right, you're in Minnesota. Absolutely. Right. Okay, so it's 1:20 your time. Just wondering. But anyway, Heidi ho, neighbor. So I'm looking at the world and looking at society, and I, hanging out with folks in the chats, and earlier on this evening, or well, actually it's this morning now, but Wednesday night in the chat room with Milky Way Weekly, and just saying hi, and all the response of the people who are absolutely lovely, who just, hi Dave, how you doing? Da 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 da. And these folks are more polite to me, and they've never met me. They've seen me on a live stream or on a chat or something like that, versus meeting, shaking hands, having coffee and crumpets or whatever, and literally breaking bread and sharing, on a one-to-one personal basis. And I think how wonderful this is. Absolutely marvelous. I believe it's wonderful. So I'm, a lot of us are saying, or have spoken this, said it, thinking it in different ways and terms. So this is just sort of like I'm getting a hell of a download right now. I mean, it's just like, I'm trying to like process some of the information. So if I skip around a little bit, forgive me, please. But anyway, it seemed like I had to do this. I mean, I was watching a movie and I just had to pause it and do this. So, but anyway, this new family of us, the new creation family, and they're putting it to me in this way. Because we understand now who we are, we're understanding that we are just more than these, quote, mortal beings, that we do have a spirit. There are things about our spirit. There are things about the quantum universe and black holes and galaxies and astronomy, astrology, quantum mechanics, and esoteric magic. MAJIK kind of thing, earth magic, just unbelievable things. And I did a little video earlier today, and it had to do with looking beyond the beyond, that there are so many things that we are becoming aware of now that in relative terms of even 20 or 30 years ago, it may have been hard for a lot of people to understand some of these terms, to get the esoteric. The video I did a couple of weeks ago when the orb went across the screen here in the house, during a live stream about this time of the morning, by the way. But anyway, to the point though, it's like, I continue to get messages, and I continue to get like orbs across the screen and different things that happen to me that tell me these things are real. There is a different dimension. Wherever my path is, I can see other folks. It's like, I don't know, it's like the access road beside the interstate. And I don't know, maybe they're on the access road and I'm on the interstate. I don't, anyway, but you will understand what I mean. So it's like I'm riding along with the rest of the traffic, but I'm on a different road. We're parallel, we're going in the same direction, but mine might go around a curve, or maybe the interstate veers off this way. But to the point, though, that's how it kind of sort of feels to me. Best way I can kind of explain it at the moment. So it's like, all right, and we all agree that we're all trying to go in the right direction. We all want peace, love, compassion, and the word out there is I am love. We are love. Together we are the love of the universe. And that's what brings me to this. That is the new creativity family. Because with our thoughts now, we're creating right this moment the new paradigm. We might be on that access road, or maybe we're the interstate, but parallel roads. But we as a family seem to be joining in ways that even our family members we haven't connected with, a brother or a sister, we don't understand. I know and have heard of in the last several years, especially like just this last year now, several folks who have broken up with, 20, 30, 40 years of marriage, and they just can't stand each other anymore. The vibrations have changed between the people to the point where it's just irritating and they can't stand it. And so we're all getting the new energies from the cosmos and everything. So those of us who are taking that new vibration, and I want to expand upon it. I want to look out there more. I want to look in. I've already looked for my own self. I've already looked in here a crap load the last 6 or 7 years and have settled a lot of things, so that my dark side work for me I think is mostly over. Is there a couple of things, tucked in there somewhere? Probably. But as far as I know, I've tried to go through everything to find that darkness, deal with it, fix it, do whatever, and move on to the next place. Because no matter, I might have had a flat tire. That's, my excuse. Something happened a few years ago, had to go through the darkness, learn what it was about. So I'm still on the red road. I'm still on the same path, plane, etc. My destination is still in that direction. But I had to slow down, stop, change the tire, whatever it is. Okay, maybe I just got stuck in the mud and had to wait a little bit. Whatever the situation is. So I find myself still on the same road, and I notice people, we are all, trying to head down this. With all the rain, it's a muddy dirt road down here in South Georgia. And if you've ever been on a clay road in the country at all, you'll know that it's like, keep it between the ditches is the rules around here. If you're on a dirt road and it's really slicky, if there ain't nobody coming the other direction, then the whole road's yours. Just keep it between the ditches, because that's how bad it'll get, slipping and sliding. It's a lot of fun, actually. But anyway, have ended up in a ditch or two. This new creativity family, though, as I'm getting these downloads, they're saying, we need to expand upon it a little more. In other words, we all gathered together on different channels, like Sherry D is on now. And, when I was on earlier, there were other folks in Milky Way Weekly, Brian, and other folks. Okay. So to that point, though, we are spreading the love. We are sharing it between each other. And so the next thing is that we all need to just continue that. And if there is another, like a little step forward, I'm being told that we should kind of push the envelope a little bit, meaning that we should really okay, we're doing our own homework here. And we understand these things that, okay, I've got a dark side and I got to get rid of this. Okay. And if we do all right, well, maybe I still need some work done. Maybe I'm only halfway there. Just bear with me. So I'm only halfway there. But then I look at the situation in society and I go, you know what? There's enough of us here, though, that are on the same wavelength in so many other things in this quantum cosmic reality dealy thingy going on with us all, that what we need to do is like put a thought forward. Now, for example, back several months ago when they had that bad cave incident over in Thailand or wherever it was over in the Middle East where all the boys were caught in the cave. And I did a couple of videos about caving and prayers and so forth, and they all made it out. That's amazing. So to me, that is what positive thought and prayer and so forth can be done. Now, I said earlier in a couple of videos about the storm and Florence is fixing to hit in the morning tomorrow or Thursday, today actually, and into Friday, etc. There are a lot of people who are praying against that storm. That's how we use what we have. And the more of us who can focus it on the storm, for example, my prayer this morning and last night has been, it's been hard to kind of steer away from it without being like looking at the weather channel every 5 minutes. I can't do that. I know it's out there. I know it's turning. The thunderstorm came by earlier threw some lightning out there, and the thunder was so loud it literally was shaking the windows in the house, and I mean really shaking them. Woo. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, the storm is upon us. It's here. Now, how many of us would it take to put positive thought against this and just say, okay, you're a storm. And I don't think any of us, at least in my opinion, I just want the storm to lessen. I want the storm to be mild. Can I make it go away? It's too damn big. I'm like, hey, let's keep our thoughts in a little bit better frame of thought, if you will. And that frame of thought would be, I wish the storm to be calm. Not go away, because that's like a really big deal, Well, let's just focus on, okay, that cat, whatever 3-4 storm it is just gonna rain. It's just gonna rain. That's all. It's gonna come in, a little bit of wind, okay, but it's gonna be rain. Now we can all say that it's not gonna be 25 inches of rain, please. And that, rather than trying to dissipate the entire storm, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we just focus on, let's just make the storm not as bad, let's just decrease it. And it seems because of meditations that have happened in the past, that we as this new creation family, because we wish to create a better environment, fine, let the storm come in, but let it be a little calmer. Calm down, Florence. Calm down, Florence. Calm down, Florence. 3, the magic number 3. So if you're going to do something, repeat it 3 times. If it's a prayer, make it a short one, but say it 3 times and with good intent. So I know there are a lot of people around, literally around the world, who are praying against this storm because they may be in another country, but they might, the East Coast of the United States, there's a lot of people there. So there are a lot of families stretched out in Army, Air Force, military, jobs overseas, just whatever. Okay. Maybe it's visiting family. Who knows? From overseas to here kind of thing. So if we're all meditating, calm the storm. If we will be calm in the storm, will we have an effect? I say yes. Now, they're harping the crap out of it. I mean, I've been to several satellite images, looked for myself, and they're doing some nasty spraying over the storm. Whatever they're hitting that storm with, they're literally making the insides boil. Now, I grew up in Tampa, Florida. We hit a lot of hurricanes growing up and over all my 66 years. And I'm here to tell you, these hurricanes, these last few years, never seen a hurricane bubble and boil and toil and trouble like these hurricanes are doing now. Now, there's already way too much proof about HAARP and all of the, they use high frequency antennas, bounce it off of guess what? The chemtrails that have aluminum and different things in them, bounce the signal off, and then back down onto the surface of the earth wherever they want it to go. Okay, it's proven, the science is there, so no need for that discussion. Now, those of us who are meditating against that, there's another focus point. Okay, whoever is pushing the button for that high frequency to hit the atmosphere, to do the boil, toil, trouble thingy with the storm, we can focus on whoever. If we knew their names, we could, like, okay, I'm just making this name up. Okay, all right, Mark Adams, cut it out. You know what I'm saying? All right, Dingleberry, cut it out. Don't send that signal to the atmosphere. So at the same time, although we might not know their names, we know that they're doing it. So we can focus against the storm, which is a really big deal. A lot of energy, a lot of stuff. And we have had effects on storms before as meditators. Okay. I've noticed it. I mean, I'm part of a group, and every time something like this happens, I'm in there with it, positive thought, my mantra. I mean, I'm right this minute, I'm like shooting the juice out, let's stop this thing, slow it down, whatever. Now, so another focus point could be on these folks that are doing it. So even though we don't know who they are, some of us who do the remote viewing and looking, astral work, things like that, okay? What if we just said, whoever you are that's doing it, cease and desist? And if you focus on the fact that it's somebody's shooting these high energy frequencies into the atmosphere. So it's like you do it, you trace it back. Okay. It's sort of like if you ever watch Star Trek, when they're trying to find the vehicle that went to warp, can you find the warp signal so they can track down the vehicle? Well, in the same way, we know that this stuff is happening. So our thought goes to it, but we want that thought to travel back down that warp trail to the people who are actually doing it. And so, it's like, all right, who's ever doing this, I want it to backfire on you, But I want your little computer to go bzzz, so you can't push the fire button or something like that, if you get my drift on this. So these are two particular areas that my download friends are saying, hey, we have already shown that as mass meditative groups, we have an effect. So let's step it up. Not just against the storm, but what about the people who are doing it? Okay. Now, like I said, we don't know exactly who, but for some reason, I use this term. It's a feedback loop. So they're sending a frequency up to come down here and hit me, and I'm going to take what's hitting me and I'm going to loop it back to them and let it go back and smack them. Okay. So it's like ooh, bam. It's like pulling an elastic band, and then all of a sudden I'm on this end and I decide to let it go. Now, as the new creation family, things that are old are new again. Now, I know that in the last 2 years, this has been like a mantra of some of the galactics, a lot of the galactics, actually, and other people too. It's come up in conversations politically and movies. It's old as new kind of thing, meaning that some of the more simpler things that we had 100 years ago can still be applied today if we would just change our way of thinking. Society has steered us in a different direction. So we need all these things that we don't really need. But at the same point, it's like some battery technology and things. I mean, there's just some stuff, okay? The Tesla technology, lots of other things that fewer moving parts, but greater whatever, okay? Organic gardening and just all kinds of stuff, all right? This thinking out of the box, beyond the box, without a box. So if we start manifesting these, so it's like, as a positive thought, anyone who wishes to do organic gardening, I'm going to send a prayer to. Blessings to all you who start your own organic gardening. Go outside, get a pot, get some dirt, and plant anything. Just plant something, because the act of doing it is going to increase the earth. It's just going to start the ball rolling. Okay. So it's like, well, you might not be able to go out and start a garden, but can you find a pot? You probably got an old pot or pan or something that you could, throw some dirt in and grow something in it. Try it. And so it's the act of doing, and then it's the act of doing another. But if we all start acting rather than just talking about it, and I say this because I got some more weeds to pull this morning, as it's cooler now to do weed work in my garden. I want to get my winter garden in. It's best down here in the south for collards and turnips and greens. I got spinach and actually lettuce, because they like cooler temperatures. So it's like, but if each of us takes our meditation, so we say a prayer to the next guy, whoever's going to grow tomatoes, I'm saying a prayer for all tomato growers. Now, I know this sounds like really off the chain here, okay? And it kind of sort of is. But it's like if we all start putting it into that quantum frequency up there, if we all continue to put it up there, and it's not like you have to go all day long going, oh, tomato plants, oh, please, oh, oh, lettuce and spinach. Nah, not what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It has to do more with the fact that we're going to be putting things in motion, and it's the motion. Okay. If it's an old cup that you put a little bit of potting soil in it and you root something, it's the fact that you are doing it, and the thought that goes in it, the love that and the tenderness that it goes in, because you wish it to grow and to nourish it. So those thoughts will go into the quantum. It's already there. But if you consciously excuse me, if you consciously think about it, I'm watering my plant, but while I'm watering my little plant in my little cup here, I'm also thinking in the quantum, I'm watering all the plants. All the plants are that somebody's watering a plant somewhere on this planet, and I'm helping to water. My watering is to water the universe, So rather than just keep it to the cup, to keep it to that little plant at that level, they're asking me to tell folks there is a bigger picture to this. And if each one of us does it, it's going to add to that quantum, that etheric, that other level of thinking, being, etc. And it helps to make us creators. Now, when you plant a seed in the ground and you nourish it you are in a lot of respects creating. Now, you didn't make the seed. That's not the point. And a lot of times, and I won't go into that, but anyway, let's stick with the thing. The fact that you're nurturing it and caring and thinking and loving and all that kind of good stuff when you plant something. If you allow that thought from that one plant or your garden, whatever, to include the rest of the planet in that prayer. I'm watering my little plant and I'm watering the planet. Mother Earth is in this little cup here, and my little plant, I'm keeping it in the house because the UV rays are going to kill it. So, but you give it positive. What does that have to do with the rest of the planet? Loving and nurturing is higher vibrations. Giving of yourself and your energy to promote growth of something is going to raise your vibration. And as you raise your vibration, and when you put that thought, as I'm raising my vibration, I want to send it out to the cosmos and share it. Here we go. Watering this plant, I'm doing the thing, whatever it is. If you're outside on a walk and you're picking up plastic bottles or something, I do it when I walked more, I did. And I'm going to get back to it when the weather cools down some. But I always take a plastic bag or two. And when I'm walking up and down the sides of the roads, I pick up the garbage. and sometimes there's only one or two, and sometimes it takes 3 or 4 garbage bags. It depends on the season. But to the point, though, it's my mantra. I'm picking this bottle up, hoping somewhere else, someone else is going to pick a bottle up. So, I'm saying a prayer, I'm getting rid of this plastic bottle, and I'm going to take care of it. Somewhere else on this planet, somebody else is picking up plastic bottles. So I try to carry my thought, whoever it might be out there, hey, I'm going to have faith that someone else is picking up plastic bottles on the side of the road like I am. That's my prayer. That's my thought when I'm doing it. So I didn't realize that I had been doing this until the last couple of days, and I've had this little bit of information come into me here. And it's like I'm still trying to decipher some of this download, right, as I speak right now. But it seems like that it's really important. That's how we put a little bit more, and it's not really any effort. It's not like we got to go sweat outside and get bloody and go through briar patch. Nah. All we have to do is just add a little addendum to our meditation. Add a little tidbit to the prayers we have, or our meditations, or what are our positive thoughts for someone. And it would, for example, I have a friend of mine who's going to come by tomorrow. We're going to go into town, have lunch together, pay a couple of bills. I haven't seen him in a while. He's recovering from cancer, prostate cancer. They're going to attach his insides back to his normal self here shortly. And he's been through a lot. But I think to myself, when I say a prayer for my friend, RB, I also, in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking to all the other men. Women don't have prostates, I don't think. But to the point, though, it's like I'm praying for anyone else who has to go through this. And then I think my prayer includes, and for anyone else who is a cancer patient, and for anyone else who has made it over the hump, and for anyone else who's had their intestines come out the side and dump into a bag, so my prayer, I kind of lift it a little further. I try to include everybody, but my focus is on my friend. When I'm trying, he needs healing, he needs help. I'm praying for this dude right here, okay? But at the same time, and so the prayer includes, this is for my friend RB, blah, 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 and anyone else who might have this disease, or anyone else who might have this condition. So I help to include other folks in it. Now, I don't know who they are, okay? But I'm adding that little sentence at the end of my prayer or meditation and throwing it out to the quantum. Now, I've been doing this without thinking for a long time, all right? But I'm being told now that, wait a minute, that it actually is a good thing. But in order for all of us to become more creative in this new family of ours, because those of us who understand this, those of us who are feeling the energies and so forth, there are a lot of us who are going, I wish I could do more. Well, maybe the more is including in your prayer, well, somebody's got a headache today, and I'm going to pray that their migraine gets better. But I'm also going to just add that little tidbit to the end. I'm praying for Umpty Scrunch for their headache to go away, and anyone else who might be having a migraine today. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as adding other folk, or saying, and to other people. So, I wish the storm to reduce in size. So, and why? The reason is so people won't get hurt, so people won't die, so people will be safe, so people won't lose property. That's, but I want the storm to abate. Okay. And if the storm won't calm down and we can't get those buttholes to not push the button on their computer to make the HAARP thing work, and all the other stuff they're using, by the way, then we focus on, as most of us are, a general prayer of, we hope that people can get away from the coastline in enough safety and so forth. So different ways to approach this storm. But what the download is about this is that when we gather together in the chat rooms, and we don't have to tell the other person necessarily unless we want to spread this news, but it's like, okay, so, and I'm using Brian and Milky Way Weekly earlier, and all the good comments that were going for everybody and all the stuff in the chat room earlier. And it's like, okay, so with all those good prayers, now we were saying prayers and blessings to each other. And I'm just saying this but did any of us include folks who weren't in the chat, who are still part of our family, if you follow what I'm saying? And I mean, we were all being blessings to you and good night and all that's great. But and for me, I was thinking, well, I didn't see such and such online tonight. Hope they're okay. Now that was my own personal little, I'm saying blessings to all you and the people I actually don't see in the chat today. I hope that makes some sense. So what we do is, even though we don't see someone, in the back of our mind, and in one of the prayers that I learned during my shaman training, was that what you do is you say, to all the ancients, to all the ancestors, to all of my relatives, and this is one that is like an inclusive kind of thing, and all of my relations. All of my relations. What does that mean? Does it mean relatives related? Well, maybe it's friend. It's anything that is relative to you. If you've had an interaction with another person that is relative to you and who you became. I mean, if you just shook hands with a homeless person, on the street one day or something, and I'm sorry, I was homeless, and I've known many homeless people, so I understand that. It wasn't a put down, but it's the fact that that person may have changed your life. There are sometimes I've only known someone for a very short time, but what they had to offer me, it might have just been a paragraph, but it stuck with me the rest of my life. And it benefited me in a lot of ways. And I have gone back over this and said, I met this guy for 3 days, and it's like, wow, what he taught me during that time. Okay. So we expound upon what we are already doing. That's how we push this envelope. That's how we push this cosmic creativity. That's how we push the earth into more healing. Okay. So when we're sending our vibrations into the growing things in a pot or outside, take your choice. But to the point is that it can be a simple act. It's the intent, the love, and everything that goes into your simple act that's going to affect everything else. And it's also going to help you focus on being more creative. In other words, I'm going to change the pot. I'm going to take it out of this little cup, but that's all I had right now. So I'm going to go get a different pot, or I'm going to plant another. It's lonely. I'm going to go plant another plant. So whatever you do is going to increase it. Every time you water the plant, by the way, this plant over here is screaming at me, "Hey, bitch, water me." When I'm done here, I promise, I got to water the inside plants here. But to the point, though, it's like, it will help you get in contact with other things and more things. But it pushes our creativity in our new family. Now, why is this the oldest going to become new again? It's because so many folk, and I've discussed this, but other people too, but when you lose touch with the dirt, when you lose touch with the earth, when you lose touch with growing things, there's a part of you, your humanness, that I don't know, maybe it goes back to the Neanderthals or something. But there is a core something in there, part of creativity. And growing things is one of the best ways to, quote, be creative in a live way with a living thing. Okay. Now, it's like, I made this candlestick holder on from some wood that I cut down in the back of my woods, and I turned it on my wood lathe, and I made these years ago, sold them to people, gave them away. But anyway, so this is art in itself, with just putzing around with a wood lathe, So that's art, that's important, but it's not growing anything. I made a piece of work that was cool, and it can get passed down to other people. But when you plant something and it grows and you nurture it, it's like, whoa, dude. Okay. It also increases all the vibrations, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I say that with a tongue in cheek kind of deal there, All right. So why does this seem to be important right now? Well, because we're almost at the autumnal equinox. Yes, autumnal equinox. That's right. On the 23rd, and day before my birthday. Oh boy, I love this time of year. And it ain't about my birthday. It's just like, I don't know. I just like this time of year. We're going to it's cooling down a little bit. It's not as bad. Of course, the storms are going to get nastier, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, fall is coming. Oh, and by the way, the leaves are falling off my oak tree right out here. I mean, it's like it's October or November, way too early, and the leaves are burnt. What I'm saying. Okay, but back to this being creative. Now, being creative with plants, and all we have to do is include that what we're thinking is not just here in the present. It's not just here in, I got something growing in this old cup here. It's more than that. So all we have to do is include that little bit of more than that. Just take it just a little step further. But if 144 of us, or 144,000 or a million, there's not 104 billion on the planet, but I think you understand what I'm saying here, is that for every one of us that helps put positive energy out there in that quantum force, now that we are aware of it, now that we know that it exists, if we all start taking it out of our little now spot and just feeding just a little bit up yonder or out there, however you want to look at it, okay? If we share that little bit and everyone else, if we make it inclusive, I'm praying for my friend, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, okay? And he's had a problem with his name, and the kids at school are picking on him. I'm praying that he'll have a good day. And so the addendum to that would be, and any other child that's getting bullied today, So any prayer that you make for any reason, person, whatever, group or thing, add just a little addendum to it. But that adds to the quantum. That adds to the creativity of the entire planet. And it's like, there are lots of times I'm sitting here staring out my window just going, sitting here, I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I'm just sitting here. Now, my downloads are telling me I need to sit still and heal and do these other things. But at the same point, I'm like, come on, creator, there's got to be something else I can do here, Okay, we have discussions, and I ain't gonna put my glasses on to see what y'all are writing. It'll get me off track. So I love you. You know me by now, but I'll make it to the chat in a minute. Okay. So I love you all, whoever you are that are here. I don't want to look. Okay. But with this download, it's like, but so what can Dave do? Well, I can't get out and ride around and visit people like I want to, or I can't do, but so what can I do in the galactic way? What can I do with the meditation? Well, I can meditate against it. Okay, but there's got to be something else. And this something else came to me later on this evening, and it's coming in now, actually, as I speak with you now, in that all we need to do is include that addendum. Whatever the prayer is, whatever the thought. I mean, if I'm going through the news and there was a wreck in Australia, when I pray, I send out a prayer, to those poor people who were in a bus accident or something in Algeria or something. I don't know, but and made the people overcome their illness or their accident, and anyone else who was in an accident today, may they heal. So it's really easy to throw in and everybody else to all my relations, if you will. And so now that those of us who our vibrations are higher, we do understand that we're all related. We understand it in a cosmic way that a lot of folks aren't getting. And I will speak about my family. It's like, I've tried to have conversation with family members, and it's like, what? They refuse to speak to me. And it's like, or even comment to a video or whatever. So there are folks that, like you here in the chat room, I've never met before. You are more family to me than my blood relatives. Friends, family, folk. There's one or two out there, but, all the brothers and sisters, and children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, I got not a word from anybody. I am not in that realm. I'm not in their realm anymore. As much as I try to be included, I'm not. Plain and simple, that's a freaking truth. Now, I'm not the only one. I know a lot of other people who are having the same issues. Their family's just like, bye. Don't want to have any conversation. No comments. I send, I love you things on Facebook. I think they would erase them if they could. I mean, it's almost like we don't even want you speaking on our chats or in our Facebook post or whatever. It's like, go away. Everybody else, they can write 2-3 chapters about. They can like and send emojis. Me, nothing. Crickets. Now, it's because I'm crazy. It's because I'm nuts. It's because I'm on this parallel road. But there are a lot of us on this parallel road. Now, a few years ago, this upset me. Now I'm looking at it from a different point of view. And it's still tough to swallow because I'm being ignored. I'm being pushed off to the side. What I have to say has no relative in anything to any of my family members or brother. What? But people I've never met are agreeing with, that's not a bad idea, Dave. And there's wisdom in what you have to say. But to everybody else, I'm crazy. Now, everybody else is going through the same shit too. So it's not like I'm trying to say here, oh my God, I'm all about, nah. I'm saying this because I know other people going through the same thing. It's going on around the world. It's a cosmic social thingamajiggy, all right? And this cosmic social thingamajiggy, when we all put the proper notations in our prayers and in our meditations, and we add that little addendum and to all of my relations and to the rest of who may be suffering, or blessings to all, or whatever. And it only takes, like I just said, it only takes a little bit. But when we are conscious of it, that's what's important, because it's that positive intent that we put on the thing. So it's like, I've been doing things like this subconsciously for a long time because it was part of my shaman training. Okay. But now I'm being told I need to add this a little bit to everyone else because, hey, guess what? If we all add this little addendum, we're going to increase the creativity of the new generation, the new soul spirit, the new feeling that we're all feeling. How can our vibrations stay high? Well, it's by adding that little addendum. So anyone who's out there looking for the quantum, if they're looking for information, if each one of us is adding that little spicy thing to the end of it, like, here you go, then that means that the rest of us will be feeding off of it inadvertently. It's just going to be there. But because I'm sending a prayer to, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, I will include his family because they all got the same crazy last name. So, if you get my drift here, okay, trying to be humorous with a really serious subject. But to the point, though, it's like I really wanted to cry about this. I simply want to have a conversation with family members, and they won't have it. I mean, just hi, how are you? Things okay on your end of the world? How's the hubby? Been fishing lately? I'm not getting anything deep or technical. Just hi, how are you? Not a word. That's just weird. But I know lots of other people going through the same thing. So it's not just me, but it is this planet. It's different races. It's in Chinese. It's in Indonesia, Thailand, okay, Mexico. There are families everywhere and societies and things that just aren't meshing. But that the rest of us are. I mean, what? The folks right now in the chat room, I ain't gonna put my glasses on yet, but for the folks in the chat room, y'all saying hi to each other and sending blessings back and forth and hearts and love and all that's going out to the universe. This is great. This is wonderful. So for each one of us, and every time I say something like a prayer, we're all sending this little bit of, hyper energy out there to that quantum universe thing. And the other thing about this, the ET folk, if you want to go there, and I do, but to the ET folk, they're hearing this, you see. And so the more they're hearing of us, like add that little addendum to the prayer. I'm praying for my friend RB and anyone else who has cancer. Well, that was nice of you. You included other people. Wow, you're expanding your thought. You're expanding your energy. You expand your aura in a little tiny line, but it all goes to the same place. Now, there are folks listening. The spirits are listening. Creator is hearing this, okay? And it's like every time I try to get depressed about this, and trust me, I was like I was trying to get depressed. I was like looking forward to it. And I was like, I can't. As much as I want to piss and moan and jump up and down about being ignored, I was like, but I can't. I still love them. I can't take that, and I will. I still love you, even though you won't talk to me. I still love you. Ignore me all you want to, but I still love you. It's okay. I'm bigger than that. I mean, and that's part of my lesson. But to all of us, though, so we're being ignored. Well, can I get depressed over it? I tried. It ain't happening. Instead, I'm doing this video. It's like, no, hang on. Wait a minute. If you ignore me, then what do I need to do? I wanted to be depressed over this. I mean, seriously. And I was like, well, number one, dummy, that's wasted energy. Well, so that wanting to be depressed lasted about that long. But I was like, but wait a minute now. So there's got to be a message in this. Spirit's always giving me crap. I'm like, look at this one. Okay, so this one here is like, I'm being ignored. A lot of people being ignored. Why? And you know what I'm getting? Because these other folks are scared shitless of what we know. They are scared we're correct. They're scared shitless that old Pops might be right. Now, I'm not trying to brag about it. It's just, there's too many things that I've already done videos on and that have come true. The angel messages, orbs going across the screen. Okay, look, I'm not making this up. So, but to have your family just say, I don't think so. That's too creepy. That's too woo-woo. Well, I don't think so. So there's got to be a bigger message in this. So now that's why I'm here chatting with you guys, saying, there's something bigger in this. So for those of us who are being ignored by friends, family, whatever, relations, if you will, maybe we should turn that energy to folks who really want to share it, like you folk and other folk in other chats and other things in other ways, So we share it. We take what the ignore comes from ignorance. Think about that one for a minute. So if they want to ignore me and whatever old Pops has to say, they're ignoring me out of ignorance because I bring up 9/11, hey, 9/11 just the other day, 17 years for God's sakes. And they still want to say that a couple of airplanes did it with some kerosene. Are you kidding me? You know, so, but to the point though, it's like, well, he's wacko. Well, yes, I've seen UFOs. I've taken pictures of orbs. I'm showing you proof. I'm trying to tell you guys, here you go. I got proof, but you don't want to believe me. Okay, fine. Then it's your own ignorance. But should I get upset about it? I mean, really, I was looking forward to being depressed over it, and I couldn't get 5 minutes out of it. I must have changed. You know what I'm saying? But to the point, I was like, the lesson in here, the lesson. What is this lesson? The cosmic family. The family that wants to create. The family that seeks out a higher frequency. The family of the planet. Not just blood relations or whatever, but family. It goes much deeper than just, hey, we play cards on Saturday night, a little, penny ante poker or something, or, whatever. We have become a family. We are the new generation. We are the new creators in this new world coming up. Because it doesn't matter per se how we get there, but we all want peace. We all want harmony as much as possible. Sure, we're going to disagree on stuff, but as long as we talk it out, as long as we don't try to go to war and shoot each other, I mean, sit down and discuss it, and so, you know what, instead of, and to this new paradigm, one of the things that I spoke about in a previous video was about pride. And some people are like, well, I'm too proud to go apologize for something that really wasn't my fault. Well, to me, you're just a stuck-up asshole. But that's just my opinion, and we all, everybody's got opinions because we all got a butthole. Anyway, you've heard that. So, but to the point, it's like, well, wait a minute, is that really pride or is that arrogance? Is that narcissistic kind of behavior? It's like, wait a minute, you had an argument with somebody a couple of years ago, or maybe it was last week. I would say that the man who has enough pride in him, or woman, pride in their own character to say, you know what? I'm going to take the low road on this one. And so, what do you mean? I'm going to call the person up and go, you know what? I overreacted. I apologize. I'm so sorry. And the other person is going to go, well, wait a minute. And maybe the reason you got mad at that person was because they did something stupid, crappy, or whatever, and you hurt your feelings or whatever. And maybe they were in the wrong. But who's the bigger person here? I mean, Trump got criticized for going and meeting with the North Korean fella, Kim Jong. It's like, wait a minute, are you really stepping down? Are you taking the high road, the low road? What difference does it make if you can get two people together and iron out differences in any way, shape, or form? Who's being more prideful? Is it more proud to say, I know who I am. I'm going to walk into this situation and I'm going to apologize, even though the other guy was the asshole. But you know what? I just don't want any hard feelings between us. It's too stupid. So who's the better person? The person says, well, I'm going to stand up for my own pride. I've got my pride to take care of. And where's your pride getting you? You got somebody you're pissed off at, or they're, and there's dissension. So where's that pride getting you, huh? Just saying. And there's a lot of prideful people out there right now. Well, I don't want to admit that he was right, for God's sakes. Why am I being ignored? Because I've proven to too many of my own family members that some of the downloads I'm getting are correct. I've talked about earthquakes. They happened the next day. They happened a couple of days later after I did another thing about some earthquakes. A storm in the Gulf. I mean, there were too many things, that I have told my relatives. Be careful of this. You're on the beach, blah, blah, blah. Not a word. And it's not like there are a lot of times when I don't want to be right. I don't speak about a lot of stuff. But in order to get my point across, especially when there are people that I know specifically who could be in harm's way, I'm going to say something, okay? Even if you do think I'm crazy as shit. and out in the woo-woo land. What's more important, that you warn somebody? Dave, Hawkeye, you're talking out your left ear again. Actually, this is my right one, but we won't go there. But to the point is like, well, wait a minute now, hang on. So are we as a society, are we looking too much at that? Are we being too prideful to be able to say, what's more important, to get together? What's more important, to be prideful, boastful, whatever it is, or to fix the issue? So I still love my family. I'm going to forward this into my Facebook. Do you think any of them will watch it? I seriously doubt it. But to the point, though, it's like, it doesn't really matter. I'm making the point that there's more to this. If they want to ignore us, and I mean all your friends and family who are ignoring you, or husbands, wives, whatever, folks just like, you guys are crazy here. Fine. I'm going to wear it like a badge of honor. I'm being ignored, because ignore means ignorance. And if you refuse to even listen, or if you refuse to drop your quote pride that is doing you so well right now, I mean, I had a thing the other day about the Grandparents' Day. And I'm like, how I know so many grandparents who are being sloughed off and shoved off, and the parents won't let the grandkids see the grandparents because the kids have a problem with their parents. I mean, and it's like, and some of this is like really stupidly ridiculous. And folks they ain't chatting, they're not talking, they disown folk. And I'm like, what a shame, because I know some of these people personally, and they're really nice individuals. And the issues they may have had a few years ago, life has changed for all of us, baby. And a lot of us have gotten a lot better. We've apologized for our behaviors. I mean, like me, with all the drugs and things that I was on, from doctors that created all the issues that I have had. I went back to people and said, please, if something happened during this period of time, sit down, chat with me. If I said something to you or blah, 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 to have created an issue, tell me about it, because there were things I don't really remember because of what they did to my brain. Now, everybody's situation is different, but to the point, though, I've made efforts to try to correct things, and people refuse to. They just want to keep ignoring me. But that's going to all these other folk too. So let's take that energy. And I'm like, you know what? They're still my family. I still love them. I'm still going to send them notes, but I'm going to ignore being ignored. It's like, okay, now I can absolutely vouch for this. In the past, I would have said, well, I'll show you. I'll just ignore your ass right back. Well, I'm already being ignored. They're already not paying attention to me. So what good is it going to be for me to ignore them? So what do? I still make the effort, because it's important. You may not ever remark back to a remark I made, or say I love you, or send you a kissy, huggy thingy, whatever, on your Facebook page. You may never, ever respond. But the fact that I responded to that person or family member or relative, whatever, in a positive manner, with a positive intent. And I don't just do it to like, sometimes I'll write something, really nice and smoochy just to piss them off. Kill them with kindness. Shinga Kadita, So it's like, okay, take this ignorance, let's turn it around. But with that said, okay, enough of being ignored. But to the point, though, it's still teaching me a lesson. It's still showing me something different. Okay. Even after I've dealt with this over the years, and here we go again. And it's like, how do we deal with this? We deal with it as the new creativity family. We're it. We're doing it. We're being nice to one another. We're not cursing each other out and wishing people to go to hell. We ask, how are you today? Did you have a good day? Well, damn, I had a neck ache the other day. Well, somebody's, sent in a comment, they sent a prayer to me. I hope you feel better, or hope you would. And somebody sent me a thing that on my Facebook page, because I was opening up to and I still am. I'm still saying, anybody needs a place from the storm, contact me here in Southwest Georgia. Okay. I live near Meigs, Georgia. All right. But to the point, though, somebody said that it actually brought tears to their eye, because they could tell I was being serious about opening up my house to someone who may be in the storm's path danger or something like that. And it really moved me. I mean, I was like, oh my God, somebody got moved simply by my saying, hey, So it's like, we're fixing this planet. We're fixing it right now, because we are pushing out more to other people. Now, I'm not trying to get like high marks with the spirit guides. I've been in the situation where I had nowhere to go. And if somebody could have gave me a place to pitch my tent for a couple of days to get my shit together, it made all the difference in the world. And people did that for me. And I must return the favor, even though I have over the years, not the point, pay it forward. But the point with me is we're all in this together. So now I'm going to find my glasses and get a drink and read what y'all lovely people have said in the chat. None of us can sleep tonight. Hey, Rainbow, Sherry D's, Quartz Quantum, anybody I missed here? Thank goodness we're on the same path. You grew up on a clay farm, talking about clay dirt roads. Yep. You can just, as far as Florence being weaponized, all you have to do is just look at the NASA pictures from the clouds up above, and you can see the patterns of the different wavelengths that have hit the clouds. The way the clouds are swirling around the hurricane, if you look at the way the edges of the clouds are feathered, that's not natural. That's weather warfare. Sherry, you're absolutely right. You tend to think on different wavelengths and wonder about if our outer world reflects our inner world. Well, for a lot of us, I absolutely agree with that. And I can use my own self in situations previous. I know my outer world my inner world was reflecting my outer world, etc., back and forth back in the day. So depending on where you are as far as doing your own homework on the inside, that's a very true statement. And you also say that think of the storms that rage within us and our triggers. Absolutely. Yeah, there's some nuclear power plants. I mean, Savannah River Project, oy vey, between Georgia and South Carolina, big time. I mean, Savannah is a really old town. There's some beautiful old buildings, and Savannah hadn't really been hit in a long time. I mean, South Carolina got hit back a few years ago, maybe 10, I don't know, I forget, but they got hit, but not near as bad. But for this thing to be coming the way it is, it could really put a big, nasty dent on Savannah, because Savannah is not very high up above sea level, let me tell you. And there is a bay and some outer islands that will slow some of the storm surge down. But basically, Savannah is like 10 feet above sea level. So a 9-foot storm surge is going to flood a lot of Savannah, a lot of old buildings and trees and stuff. Hey, Rainbow, Quartz. Okay, I'm saying everybody, I'm going down through there. Leaves are just beginning to turn different colors here in Minnesota. They're not turning colors down here. They're burnt and falling off. They're not changing colors. They've got a black tint to them. It's not normal. You're not in my pop's room anymore. Thank you. You have family. Okay. Marie, you're back. Hello. Noop Lapser, hello, what's going on so far? I've dealt with narcissistic people who have played divide and conquer between me and those that are dearest to me, and I am closer to people on this path. Absolutely. And that's part of that. I'm reinforcing that, Miss Sherry. Absolutely. And rather than folks, who are ignoring us and just turning their head to us and whatever, and I mean, it's the simple things. It's not me talking about UFOs. It's just me and saying, hey, I love you. Hey, I still care. And hey, blah, it's the simple things. Okay, you don't want to read or listen to me talk about UFOs. I get it. Okay. But you won't listen to me when I'm saying that I love you and I care for you and I miss you. You don't want to say anything about that. Just saying. But see, we're all getting it. My ex has the same also. Yeah, from family. Yeah, we are expanding our idea of family. The expression on my face was classic. I don't know what I said, but I'm glad it was classic. That's the actor in me. I mean, I literally have been 85 different stage productions, and I've worked as a director, the whole nine yards. Um, like a child, in wandering in amazement and pure innocence. Absolutely. Love Potion number 9 is the nine fruits of the spirit. Yeah, it was also a really cool song back in the day. That was one of my favorites. I took my troubles down to Madame Rue. You know that gypsy with that tall. Anyway, someone said we were born into families because we need tribe. They were our first tribe. Did we outgrow our tribe or get ostracized to seek out our new tribe? Well, I was adopted, so I don't think I was really brought into the tribe. I was adopted into my uncle's tribe, and I love him for that. And his birthday anniversary is coming up on the 19th, and I'm going to do a little special tribute to my pops on that one. But to the thing is that several years ago, it seemed like family was really close. Now, some of that family still is close, and Dave went off the deep end. Now, but other people, other families, other situations, this has kind of happened too. Whatever near death experience, or maybe they quit drinking or quit, they got off a crack or something, whatever it is, something major changed in their life and it changed their attitude, their frequency started changing. And so they started looking at family in other places, down here in the country where I live, I don't get any visitors, and it's like, okie dokie, guys, it's okay. But for a long time, I was like, I was really mortally wounded. I'm like, to all the people I went and visited, somebody had a broken toilet, I'd go fix it. I'm a plumber and an electrician, on a weekend, somebody couldn't, Dave, man, can you bring blah, blah, blah? I got it. Sure. I got glue and pipes and stuff. And I'd go fix it for them. And a lot of times I'd even charge them, hey, make me dinner, make me a home cooked meal. Okay, fine. And it's like, but even those folks, they don't even call me to help out anymore. And the thing is that the few times I have asked other people, I'll pay you to come visit me because I want to crawl up the ladder and I just want you to stand and hold the ladder for me. I mean, really. And I can't get any, I'll give you $25 and something, if you come hold the ladder for me for an hour. No takers. And it's like, a pine tree in your yard burned by the sun. Yeah, there's a lot of burning going on. Narcissistic people can't understand love. They don't. And not everyone who ignores us is a narcissist. Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree with that. Sherry D. And I hope that's not really what I meant. But there are people though who have, in this new bit of frequency and stuff, there are family members that I've known who've had a little bit of twinge of narcissism in them, it just but here lately it's like jumped out of the box. So it's like, it was a little minor trait 10 years ago, but now it's like full blown something, And so instead of their frequency changing to the point where they're sharing love and everything, it's almost like me. What about me? Or, blah, 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 blah. And, and pointing the finger and being nasty to other people. I mean, just like, okay. So some folk have that narcissistic tendency, because we all are in a little way, but these frequency have triggered that narcissistic gene, if you will, to be more prevalent in some people. So, night all, send healing and feeling strange. Okay, night to you as well. I only have a small family here in Australia. Myself, my brother, and two sisters, no aunts or uncles. So we keep together even when drama occurs. It's knowing when to step back. Absolutely, and be unattached. Well, that was part of what I was meaning about. What's more important, to be prideful? Like, well, you said something and hurt my feelings, but I'm not going to forgive you because you were the one in the wrong. Stop it. We just need to stop that. And everybody, is pushing against the other. Well, you were wrong. Well, I'm going to stand up because I feel I was right in what I said. Well, maybe you weren't. You were crass, rude, and you hurt my feelings. But to the same point, I'm going to be prideful enough in my own self to say, it doesn't matter who was right or wrong. What matters is we settle this. Period. That's how you go into it. Apologize. Be the bigger man, as they say. We all have paths of our own. Absolutely, Marie. And it's like, but the thing is that, I might look at, and I've worked in many situations where I was the supervisor in machine shops and factory work and so forth. Okay. So it's like, now I had an issue early on when I said, well, wait a minute, these folks are doing it the wrong way. Well, everybody fixed the machine a different way. So I went to the plant manager and I said, hey, everybody's doing what should be the same way. Everybody's doing it differently. And so I realized there was a part of me that was like, you weren't doing it the way I thought it should be done. And there was about a 3 or 4 month period in there where I kind of got myself into some world of shit with the plant manager and folks on the floor. And I realized, but he was kind enough to say, come here, Dave, come here. Whatever the thing is, do you know what it is? And I was like, we had a nice little chat in 30 minutes in his office and him saying this and that. And I was like, you know what? I do want to fix this. I do want to work with them. And so maybe what we'll do, and so what we ended up doing was we set up training classes so that everybody followed a procedure. A procedure had never been written before. So he tasked me and said, okay, Dave, because you're working with this, you write the procedure, which was part of my job anyway for other machines. You write the procedures, and once every 2 weeks, you give a lesson with certain operators and you teach them how to do it. If it's your way, the way, whatever it is. And I realized he allowed me to take control of the situation by allowing me to create the teaching method and the procedure. And by doing so, he also took it out of my hands, because once I wrote the procedure down, it was no longer mine. It belonged to the plant. It belonged to everyone. So everyone followed the procedure, and it wasn't me anymore. He took me out of the equation and turned my thoughts into the procedure. So then the fighting quit. It just went away. But then I had to also realize, wait a minute, I was kind of being an asshole to some of these people, but they were doing it back to me. So wait a minute. If I'm here to do a good job, then I want to work with everybody. So whether they were right or wrong or not, I got to walk up to them and I want to look. I don't know where we went wrong. Let's start over. Okay. Let's shake hands. Seriously. Come on, shake hands. Let's start this over again. Look, I'm here to help you. That's the reason I'm here. I need a job. I want a job. But at the same time, if you keep breaking this machine, you're not going to have a job, and that looks bad for all of us. So why don't you and I work together on whatever level we can? And so, and it took all the fight out of it. So if we as individuals will do that, and rather than being so prideful and narcissistic, however you want to explain it, if we just say, look, let's stop the fighting, let's whatever it is. You don't have to like me, but we can quit arguing. You can just say, oh, okay, all right, we'll shake hands. We might not agree on anything else, but we can stop the fighting. We can cure the animosity. We can, whatever tension was there, we can release it, because we all need to get a higher frequency. So doing our internal work means that we may have to go shake hands with the devil, so to speak. Go, hey, you know what? I don't care, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if we can make this thing. We don't have to be friends, but let's just not be pissed at each other anymore. So this is the new creativity. This is our new world. The old things will become new again. That's the tribal thought. Now, in the tribe of I've spoken before, the tribes that I've been around, this is what happens. The old woman or the old man who can't do much, they can't run after the buffalo and do all this stuff. They're given the better portions by the chief or by the medicine woman or whomever, or the chief's wife, who, the mother of the tribe kind of deal. A lot of power there. Because the young ones could go out and forage for food, where grandma and grandpa had taken care of the rest of the tribe all their life. So they were given honor with a good portion of meat, not the scraps, but a good portion of food. They were given good fresh water because they had already put their time in to the tribe. We need to go back to that. I mean, we take our old people and throw them in a nursing home. And one reason why one of my relatives was pissed at me is because I told him, I said, look, if you're going to throw me in a nursing home, then take me to the national forest and put me out in the wilderness somewhere. And if I fall down off a crevice or if a bear eats me, I'll be much happier than living in a nursing home. Well, they quit talking to me after I said that. But I was in a situation a few years ago when I was like this close to death, walked back and forth between over that fence, several times over the period of about 4 years. So it's like, okay, hang on here. So now that I'm still here, now that I'm walking and talking and doing videos and all this stuff, now that I'm getting my brain back, and now that I'm getting the rest of me back, my health is getting better in certain ways. Hey, it's a good thing. But we need to look at ourselves. We need to look at other people. I've changed drastically in the last 4 or 5 years. Has anybody else changed drastically in the last 4 or 5 years? If I haven't had contact with them, I don't know. So maybe it's time for me to call somebody else up and go, hey, I haven't talked to you in a long time. You okay? And if they hang up on me, I go, well, I tried. There you go. But at the same point, it's like, well, is it worth it? Well, do you see something in another person that maybe they should become part of this new creativity family, this new create family? We are the creators. We believe it now, I think. A lot of us do. The Galactic said the other night, we need to start manifesting things more. And I thought to myself, well, how do we manifest it? I think positive thoughts, and, I put plants in the ground, and I want to manifest more good garden vegetables, etc. How do I do this? Well, this is the message. We add an addendum onto our prayers. We help to include other people, So when I say that I'm saying my prayers for my Facebook family, I can't scroll down them, but I think I'll try to think certain key people. And then I'll say, and anyone I may have forgotten, and all of my relations, I say this prayer to my Facebook family. And so I say the same kind of prayers to my YouTube family. So even though I'll think, Rainbow Phoenix or Milky Way, one or two people might pop right to the top of my head. And then on another day or another part of the same day, it could be that I think about Quartz Quantum or Sherry D in my, their name will pop up in my prayer. for all the folks, all my subscribers on YouTube, and all the people that I hang out with in the chat rooms. So, but anyway, so with that, I try to include other folks, and a name will pop in, and I just allow it to happen. So, if we continue to do this, we are creating a better tomorrow. We absolutely are. Now, tomorrow's going to be a big ass storm. Let's all pray for the best. Let's all meditate on what good can come of this. And yeah, Miss Marie, I know we've all had, some of us have really gotten some crappy deals. Is all I got to say about with family members, and exactly, it's like, for the times that I've had issues here in South Georgia, and I'm living by myself, and I mean, it's like, I didn't choose to have bad reactions to the medicines the doctors gave me. I didn't choose that. It's not like I went out on the street and was buying heroin and injecting myself and then I got a bad dose. No, they were giving this medicine, quote, to help me, and it put me into another realm. I lost my brain. I lost my senses. I lost my bowel movement. And so rather than family, friends coming to my rescue to help me, they ignored me and said that it was a plea on my behalf for attention. Trust me, peeing in your pants, pooping in your pants is not my idea of wanting attention. You know what I'm saying? Lots of other ways to do it. But to the point, though, I still love my family, but they just all made up a story. Well, maybe it was for the little kid who cried wolf too many times. Well, I've had several bad injuries in my life. And am I crying wolf? Well, I've had 3 operations on my neck, in a SOMI brace for a year where I couldn't move my head. Okay. I could have used a little bit of help, without begging somebody. Hey, Dave, could you use a little bit of help? I see you're in a neck brace here for a year. You just had major surgery. Could we help you out in any way? Nah, go away. You're just, that's your feeble attempt, Dave, of trying to get sympathy. And we're trying to, just go away. And so they have. As an empath, I tend to attract narcissistic people. You know what? A lot of us have a tendency to pick up narcissistic people. I don't know why. I know what part of my problem is, and it's that I want to trust everyone. I trust you until you give me a reason not to. Well, the other person on the other side, they may be thinking, I'm going to screw him before he figures out I'm an asshole. It's just the way some of that goes sometimes. But they do realize they are acting like a narcissist, or is it unconscious habit that needs rehabilitation? I think that because of these new cosmic energies, there are latent tendencies in folks, and that maybe some people really were buttholes to begin with, or narcissistic or whatever, selfish is what I think. But that, it's like, yes, Corbett 21. Yes, exactly. Eliminating pride and ego. And that's a hard thing to do, but at the same time, see, there's two sides to this. Have enough pride in your own self-esteem that you can go to someone and say, hey, I'm sorry, I overreacted, even if they are wrong. So, but in a way, though, it is your own ego that says, I'm strong enough in myself. So there's a couple of ways to look at this, but to the point where someone is an egotist. Yeah. But you have to have enough confidence in yourself to be able to, you know what? I don't care. This person says, well, I thought he was wrong. Get over it. Okay. So, but in that, you don't let your ego get in the way, but at the same time, you have to have enough ego of self to be able to pull it off and do it correct. You get what I'm saying. Okay. Prayers to all who are struggling and are in need of prayers. Absolutely. It's 2:41 here. It's 3:45 here. Is it nighttime where you are? It is where I am. I'm in Southwest Georgia in the United States. Yes, I have matured a lot in the last 5 years, emotionally, mentally. I don't act so impulsively. Miss Marie, same here. It was a really tough battle, but I feel much better on the other end of this. And yeah, it was not a pleasant journey. I agree with you. You know, so um, we are not our past, although some haven't bothered to find out who we are presently, and I have to do the same for them. Miss Sherry, very well put, because that's sort of what I was speaking on. And my friend who came over here the other day, we went into town, blah, blah, blah. It was like she knew the old me a year and a half ago. She hadn't been around me. So she was reacting to something that I said, and I agreed with her. And I said, you were right, but that was then and this is now. But aren't you? And I was like, hang on here. I done dealt with that. You could say what you want, but I done dealt with this. So she was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah. And I went through this little thing and happy. And so where it would have brought tears to my eyes 3 or 4 years ago, it was like something just went buzzing by the screen again. And it wasn't in this reality. Holy crap. There's a lot of activity in my house tonight. That was strange. What time? 1:30. Okay. All right, I have to go back through and check it out. There's been some odd things going on back over here, and things moving in and out of the camera. At one time, I honestly thought I saw an entire curvature of an orb right over in here. So, but anyway, um, we need to allow other people to show who they are. But to the point, though, as much as I've been trying to break the ice with other people, us here gathered in this chat room in the middle of the night, well, in the United States anyway, is that, hey, we all have these common bonds. We all have these common things. And it's like, oh, holy mackerel, we are the family. So I'm going to let this go. I need something to drink. And it's potty break time, for this old man here. But at the same time, I do make videos too long, and folks are like, I lost it about an hour and 40 minutes. And I was like, maybe I should make these a little shorter and to the point. But we're having a discussion here, and I think that's important. So if we run long, it's fine. I think that's what's more important is the fact that we are sharing our feelings, our thoughts, and our good energies. We're creating right now because we're all going, you know what? We're going to deal with these things definitely. In our sharing, we're sharing it with the quantum. We're sharing it with the universe. We're sharing, while my screen buffered when that happened, the veils are becoming more transparent. And I missed something else. Some people don't realize how they are acting until they are told otherwise, and know no different until taught an alternative. And I'm going to have another conversation about this, but I've done previous videos about speaking in the positive, and I think I need to revisit that too, because it's something that it needs to be reiterated. How are you speaking? Do you say don't, can't, won't, shan't, what, blah, blah, how's your speaking here lately? Not just you folks, but folks in general. Are you still speaking in the positive? So I think I need to do just an update of here's some other examples. Remember, stay in the positive, because this is how we speak in the positive. We think with positive intent. We send out positive energy to the cosmos. And we believe, we have the faith, we understand it. So, with all you Clary people out there, Claire Audio, Claire Thisy, Claire Psychic, I'm being humorously fun and not degrading. To all of us to all of us quantum thinkers and clairvoyant type folks is just keep smiling at one another. You know, not everybody paints the house the same way. Not everybody fixes a car the same way. That's a good thing. Now, to fix the car is one thing, how we do it's another. But to the point, though, we all want to get there. We all want to learn. We all want to share. So as long as we ain't arguing with one another, so you got a different point of view. Welcome. As long as you ain't trying to cut me down. Now, can we have a discussion? Can you give me a different point of view? I welcome it. Let's have conversation. But that's how we're fixing this. So, Marie, Sherry D, Quartz, and whoever else is on that I missed. Corbett 21, I think you just subscribed. God love you. I mean, it's loving to everybody. And so keep up the good work, folk. You know, this is like an attaboy to y'all. Keep up the good work because it's not just me. It's all of us. You know, we're in this together, brothers and sisters. So from my soul heart and my heart soul to you, accept and receive the blessings from the universe. Accept and receive the knowledge and all of the information that's already there. And the more we share with each other, the more it opens each of us, the more it gets better. So we're part of the new. All right. But what is this? These are old technologies. This is what Jesus taught. This is what Buddha taught. This is what the ancients taught. So what is old will become new again. Welcome to the new world, everybody. We're all creators. So at 2:52 in the morning here, I love you all. Until next time, keep it between the ditches. What? Wait, I won't need to type soon, but just send telepathy. Absolutely. And they say that's coming, by the way. That's surpassing technology. If only astral travel and OBE were teleportations. Well, you know, it's been said that when we learn the basics in lower 4D and move into like, you know, if you think of 4D to 5D, it's like there's 10 points in between. Okay, so it's 1 through 10. All right, so and if you reach 5, then you start learning how to teleport yourself. Oh, I can't wait. Then we could all have coffee somewhere together in a Danish. So love you all. Keep out of the ruts. Absolutely. Keep the wheels moving. So love you all. Be safe. Till next time. This is Hawkeye Two Feathers saying adios, and I'm out of here. 3, 2, and